Right, well, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the plot, or I should say welcome to my home greenhouse. As a lot of you know, I need to start my videos off, or some of my videos off down at home. Some great results from the fruit trees. I've managed to get 3 of them in. A lot of comments online about the last video I put up. Of course, we're planting Espalier apple trees. A lot of comments. I hope I've helped a lot of people out with them, with my idea of growing fruit trees. If you haven't got a lot of room, and Espalier is the way to do it. Just check out my last video. As I say, welcome to the plot, everybody. A lot of newcomers on my YouTube channel, so welcome. I'm glad you're getting something from the channels. What I'm doing down today, down home, I've come down because I like to start. We're getting to the end of February, and what I like to try and get done is a sow of me perennials. Now, I mentioned it the other week, I'll be starting the flower seeds. Now, anybody else got a large garden and they want to fill their garden with flower seeds, and the easiest way to do that, to me, is the perennials. You cannot beat them. And once you've got the perennials, of course, they come back year after year after year, and a lot of them, which in the case of the Aquilegia, fantastic little flower, Granny's bonnets, the old-fashioned name, which I like to call them by, they will self-seed, and you'll find them growing all over the garden if you don't weed them out. But that's the beauty of these, you know, you can weed out the little seedlings the following year, and you can give them away to family and friends. Absolutely fantastic. So I'm making a sowing of these. They're not being heat. I mean, I've got the heat down here, and it's just 58 in here, which is fine for me. It's nice and comfortable. It's not too hot for the plants. I'm not forcing anything up, which I hate doing. So I'm going to sow them in here. They'll be in a tray, and what I'll do is I'll take them up the allotment tomorrow, which will be in a cold greenhouse, and which is where I'm going to start sowing the brassicas tomorrow. The cabbage, collie sprouts, they'll all be going to a cold greenhouse tomorrow. We'll line one of the shelves with a bit of carpet. We'll get all the trays set up, and of course they'll be under a plastic lid, and that's where these will go. And the same as with all the brassicas, we'll get them sown tomorrow. But for today, what I want to start on these, as I say, perennials, they just go on and on and on. There's absolutely hundreds of varieties. There's Echinacea, lovely daisy, there's Verbena, Nicotiana, Euphorbia, Delphinium. You know, the list is just endless. You can go on and on and on, but you know, they're quite easy to grow. You know my compost by now. Good multi-purpose compost. Good handful of sharp sand, and with this I like to put a good handful, 2 handfuls of perlite or vermiculite, which, you know, makes it really free draining. Now these were soaked just 5 minutes ago, and already they're just nice and dampened. And that's what I like, how I start my plants off. Give them a good soak in the pots first, and then they're fine. All they'll need on there is just a light covering of that. I'll push it through my sieve, which I've got somewhere, and that'll be fine. I'm always mentioning about the seed packets. Check your seed count, because your seed count will always dictate to what size tray you want to use. Now with the Aquilegia, I was just looking before, and it's got 100 seed down there. Now 100 seed, you might think it's a lot, but actually 2 small pots like that will be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's fine, Anne. It's nice, and that wind drops. Exactly. Right, well, we'll crack on again. As I say, Aquilegia, that's just the neighbour going in, and as I was mentioning, it's lovely outside, but the wind's absolutely freezing. It's a really cold wind, that, but we're supposed to get some nice fine weather towards the end of this week, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm hoping it'll be the sun will shine for it. Right, so if I can just get this packet open, there should be just the seeds inside the packet. Now what I like to do with these, I like to just sew them into my hand, because there's only 50 seeds in there. Now that looks about spot on. That I've halved that packet. You'll probably not be able to see from there. I've halved that packet, and nice black little seeds, and all I like to do is just take a few of them and just sprinkle them around that pot. Or as I say, 2 pots with 100 seed, it's going to give you approximately 50 seeds per pot, which is absolutely great. Some of them you'll find you've got a lot less, because once you start growing and they're ready for potting off, they'll be just an A size. Or as I say, there's 100 seed there being divided into 2 small pots. The beauty of these pots, I can put these into these trays. As long as they're marked, I will go on top of them with a little bit of hiya Mick. Alright. Right. I will go over them with a topping of once I get turned around again. Just put another handful out with that. And what I've done, I've just thinned that down with a bit of very fine perlite. It's always nice when the neighbours come past and but rather than ignore them. There we are. Now, as I say, it doesn't matter how deep your pot is. The golden rule: always bring it up to an inch below your pot. By the time you get a seed in and you put a sprinkling of a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch on pot on top of that, you've always left yourself a good 1/2 inch on top for watering. Now, I don't like watering from above. If you watch some of my last videos, you'll know that I always use trays, and that's what mine will go into later on. They'll go into a tray, and I always water from down below. And that's the idea of the perlite, or the vermiculite, and the sharp sand. Of course, it just acts like a sponge, and just brings the water straight up to where you want it. That's fantastic. That's that one done. I'll just pop a little bit on there, and the aqua, and that's fine. So it's marked, so I know exactly what's in there. I'm just going to write another marker out for aqua, and that's that pot done. As I say, I've got 2, 4, 6 ready, because I've got about 6 varieties here to get started on. So once I've got all the perennials done, be fine. As I say, keep a hold of your packets, because once you go on the beds and the borders, up the allotment, once they get potted off into bigger trays, I like to just stick a marker in these and keep these, and they'll go into the bigger trays, and so I know exactly what they are. So that's I just want to make a little note today about the tomatoes. Now, I am going to start making an early sowing, but if you haven't got any heat, I will just hold fire, because what I like to do with my tomatoes, I like to make a cold sowing around about the middle of March. 2nd, 3rd week in March is fine, just for a cold sowing. But once again, by what I mean by cold sowing is in the cold greenhouse, but they'll go under these trays. Got plenty of these plastic trays. They'll be in a cold greenhouse, and it'll be under them. As I've always said, you get a little bit of sunshine on your cold greenhouse, and you can raise your temperature quite easily to 60 degrees. Where the trouble lies is in the evening when the sun goes down, and you really don't want your temperatures dropping any lower than 45. So what I like to do is put them in the propagators, in the plastic propagators, cover the lids, and you can cover them with an old blanket, you can cover them with an old bit of carpet, a couple of sheets of polythene, anything just to keep that little bit of extra heat in. And I think it works wonders. I've done that way for years. So I will be making a cold sowing. If you haven't got any heat at all, I'll be making a cold sowing in a couple of weeks' time. Now the tomatoes, I've got up to now I've got 14 varieties. I've gotten tomatoes from Mike Street. He sent us up some tomatoes with a nice little letter saying that he had been on holiday to the Greek Islands, and he loved the tomatoes so much that he brought some of the seeds back with him. Well, cheers Mike for that. I'm definitely going to try them once. As I say, it's not just tomato seed, it's the little stories that go behind it that I like. Of course, one of my favourites, I've sent quite a few people out. That's my own seed. That's a large Spanish, and that's a large American. And of course, for American friends, I've got quite a few of them on the site. This I ordered a few years ago, and what they are, they're called mortgage lifter. Now a guy over in the Midwest grew these seeds, or pollinated these seeds and crushed them, and the seeds that he got off them were massive, and they were so popular that the money he made off selling them paid for his house. So that's where the name comes from, mortgage lifter. And the guy was called Radiator Willie. Just did bits and pieces, cars, and you know, it's funny how the little stories get out, but that's what I like to look behind anyway. I like to look behind the seed, not just how they grow, but where the stories come from, and what part of the world they're growing. But yeah, that's a good one. I love that one. But yeah, thanks again, Mike. I'm getting some from, I've got Aya Chocker, I've got banana legs, and I've got pink oxheart, and of course all them from Rod Halliwell. Cheers again, Rod. I will be putting all them in. I've got 4 packets from Mike, from Chris Evans, Giants, Zenith, Cedric, and a UK record Giant. So 4 good ones to treat you. I've got Heron Tom. I think I come from Dean, from Dean's Oster Plot. I'll have to try that one. I've got Lorraine Bates, and once again Lorraine sent us a great one, so I will be trying that one. That might be the same, might turn out to be the same as Mike Streets, but you never know. I've got a Hillbilly, which I'm looking forward to trying, and I've got a Yellow Pear. So I've got loads of varieties. I will be trialling most of these up the allotment, but what I'll be doing with them, I'll be doing them with a cold sowing. And it's an easy way to go about it. As I say, tomatoes, a lot of people get a bit panicky when they start talking about planting tomato seed. Well, to me, they're one of the easiest seeds to grow, as long as you get them right. You get the compost right. Now these I'm going to grow exactly the same as the potting mix that I've used for the perennials. I'm going to use for the tomatoes. It's exactly the same mix, no different. And what I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to sow some of these Cedric seeds. I'll probably put a couple, 2 or 3 in today, of different varieties, but the difference is in here there's just a little bit of heat. It never drops below 40 of an evening, so I'll be quite happy just sowing a couple. Now just checking them, there's quite a few in that packet. And what I've done, yes, perfect, I've got 6 seeds in my hand of these Cedric, and the Cedric come from, I'm sure his name's in the packet, yes, the Cedric come from Chris Evans. So I'm sowing these early, and all I'm doing, I'm putting 6 seed around the side of the pot and 1 in the centre. For that pot, it's perfect size for 6 seed, and all I've done, just placed it on top of the moist compost, and once again I'll just get a light, very light covering of the same mix, but with a little bit of fine vermiculite added. Perfect. All they'll do is they're going to the propagator. There's a little bit of heat on in here. There's a little bit of heat on in here in the greenhouse, but all they'll do is they'll just sit in there. I will put a marker in there before I knock off, and he'll just sit with the tops closed for a couple of days, just until they come through. Now I did mention it in the last video, or the video before, is the only difference of using plastic propagators, they do tend to condense up a little bit. So what I like to do is to keep a cloth handy and take the lids off every day. I haven't done these yet, but I will be doing them just before I knock off tonight. Is to take the lids off and wipe them out with a cloth so there's no condensation, and they'll sit in there. So that's a perennials done. I do all the perennials exactly the same way. Get the seeds sown. The difference is these will go up the garden in a cold greenhouse. The tomatoes will stop down here. But what I'll do in a couple of weeks, I think it's 3 weeks now, to the middle of March. We're just coming up there, I think it's the 20th today, yeah. What we'll do is we'll leave it until the 2nd week in March, and we'll start cold sowing the tomatoes. So I've got about 12 varieties that I want to I want to trial up the garden, but I want to grow them all cold, so they're all grown exactly the same way. They'll all be grown in the same pots, they'll all be fed exactly the same, same compost, in exactly the same pots with the pot mixture that I make up that I've used for years. And they'll all be grown exactly the same on a one cordon, single stem plant, and all treated exactly the same way. So we'll see what sort of crops we'll get off them. But for the time being, I'm going to put it on here. As I say, I've got 3 or 4 more tomato seeds that I want to put in today. I want to get some of the ones I'm going to use for the allotment. I've already made a sowing on some of the Spanish. And what I'm going to do this afternoon, I'm going to sow some American. So I've got some nice big plants ready to plant out into the greenhouse once the spring cabbage come out. And these hopefully should be ready for about May time, early May. A nice strong plant. But as I say, if you haven't got any heat, no problem, no worries. Wait until the middle of March and we'll do some cool stones. But yes, for the time being, I'm gonna crack on here, a load more seed done. But I'm not finished the video yet. We'll get up the plot tomorrow, and we've got a load of plants up there ready for to do a cold stone. I've got the broccoli, the cabbage, the sprouts to start on, so we can do all that tomorrow, and that'll be the finish of the video. And then come next weekend, I want to crack on again with the fruit trees, try and get the raspberries and that sorted out. I've got a peach tree to plant, so I'll have to make a framework up for that, so I'll get that done in the weekend. But we're starting to get a little bit busy now. But as I say, don't start panicking just yet. What I will be doing in a fortnight's time is sowing the majority of flowers, the lobelias, the dahlias, asters, zinnias. There's loads of there's summer flower and that you get planted. But we'll do all them in about a fortnight's time. Once we get into the beginning of March, so the temperatures are starting to come up a little bit, they're starting to rise, so it's quite easy to start sowing then. But as I say, if you haven't got any heat, well, just hang fire a bit. Don't be in too much worry. But yeah, that's it for the time being. I'll see you at the plot tomorrow, and we'll get started on the brassicas. Okay. Right, well, good afternoon everybody. Once I get this camera sorted out, I've just getting to the plot. The fog's just cleared. It was absolutely thick this morning. Piece up here, you couldn't see a couple of foot in front of your eyes. But lo and behold, lunchtime, and the sun's come out, and it's absolutely beautiful up here now. So I thought I'd manage to get a crack on, get started up here again. As I say in the beginning of the video, I wanted to get started on my brassicas. I always like to wait until the end of February before I even contemplate sowing them ones. So what I've done is I've done my collies, my cabbages, my sprouts, and they're all just in 6 centimetre, 9 centimetre pots. And I was going to put them in individual trays into these, but I thought better of it. When I open some of the packets up, of course, I send away for my seed. So they're a pretty expensive variety that I grow. The gladiator for the sprouts, and all your own collies, and of course the cabbage and the kale, the ice kale that I sent away for. Only 25 seeds in each bag. Well worth it for a couple of pounds. So what I did, I just put the 25 seeds in a small pot like that, and just give it a light covering with me compost. And of course, you know, my compost, just multi-purpose compost. And a bit of sharp sand. But what I did with these ones, I mixed a little bit of my pot mix. That's the sieve pot mix out of the barrels that have rotted down all year, and it's absolutely beautiful. I like to put just a little bit of soil in with me brassicas, so it means when they're transplanted into the pots, the same thing will go in there into a small cup, and the brassicas and the sprouts will go into them, and they'll grow on quite happily until about the middle to the end of April, when hopefully by then we shouldn't have any frosts. But that's them in. That's the cauliflowers in, the sprouts are in, and the cabbage are in. Well chuffed with that. And the job I was dying to get stuck into this week. I've started sowing a lot of perennials down home, which I showed you in the first part of the video. I've still got a few left to do up here, so I'm going to sow them this afternoon. And of course, these are the lupin, absolutely fantastic flower, and the larkspur. Brilliant flowers. I love growing these, and like I say, once you've got them for life. and it's quite an easy job to sow them. You know, just multi-purpose compost in a small tray or a small pot, get growing at a decent size, and then just pot them off, and they're fantastic. Harden them off, get them in the garden. Once they're grown away in the garden to a good size, you've got them for life. As I say, you can separate them after a year or two, dig the roots up, split the roots like I do, divide them, and plenty of free plants for family and friends. Now, the job today is I must get the sweet pea in. Now there's mine. Now these are my autumn ones. A couple of videos ago I showed you how to chop the tops, and if I can get over, there's mine now. Absolutely fantastic. They're just at the right size. They're 3 to 4 inches high when I chop them, and they're just starting to push away there now, and they're really strong, nice green, lovely looking little plants. No disease, no weeds. As I say, this is my own compost in here, my own pot and compost, and they've had nothing. They've had no extra feed or anything, and they're growing away fine, no problem. It's because I use my own compost for this. I use nearly a pint pot, and them plants have been feeding off that compost all winter. As I say, half the roof was missing in here for a couple of weeks, and sub-zero temperatures, but hey, the sweet pea love it. They just grow away at their own space. Don't force them whatsoever. No heat. Now there's 2 or 3 in there, and they're double branched, and already are separating, and they're going to grow lovely and strong. So I'll get them out of here. I'm going to clear a space over on the far bench in the garden, and they'll go outside at the end of next week, which will be the end of February. They'll go outside, and they'll start out there for 2 to 3 weeks, middle to the end of March, and they'll be fantastic for planting out in the garden. So that's the autumn ones. As I say, I love growing the autumn ones for myself because the roots and the plants that you get off them are fantastic. You don't get as big as plant as that for a summer grown one, depending on what time you're growing them or when you want to grow them. But I'll go exactly the same way again. I'll use small pots, bring it up an inch above or an inch below the pot with my compost, and then all I can do, take the seeds out. Now I don't soak my seed. Sometimes I do with the autumn ones. It's just depending. Because I don't like it getting too dry. And with these ones, all I do is I put 2, 3 seed in every pot. Just press them into the nice moist compost, and you'll be fine. As long as the compost is well watered, you should find that they break easy. They break the shells easy enough. A little bit of moisture on them. As I say, sometimes when I'm doing the autumn ones, I might give them ones a little soak overnight. It just depends on your preference, what you want to do, you know. If you can get away with it without soaking them, that's fine. And must have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different packets. I have put them onto one side because they're a dwarf one, and they'll be ideal for baskets. So a lot of people are not grocery peas in a basket. I think they look fantastic. Just drooping over, and the scent and the smell from absolutely marvellous. So that's the dwarf ones. These are the mixed ones. They're both the same as the ones I put in. So I don't like to mix my sweet peas up. I like to keep them all named so I know exactly what's in the packets or what's in the trays, because different people will want different plants, you know, different colours, mixed colours or a single colour, and that's fine, they're there. So that's them done. All filled, and all they need now is just let it cover with the same mix. And all I do is just bring it up to ½ inch below the pot, and that's fine, they're in. So it's the first of my summer sweet peas, and they'll just stop in a cold greenhouse. Then here, and at the end of the 100-foot tunnel, as I say, the next thing to come in here is the last of the strawberries. I've got my third lot of strawberries down there, the white ones. They'll come up here and they'll sit on these trays, and this place is starting to fill up quick. So I've got to start and be a little bit clever with me shelving and me benches, because over the next couple of weeks I've got thousands of of seeds to sow. Now, as well as sowing the sweet peas today, there's 2 or 3 others. Now, these seeds are exactly the same as the sweet pea. They're very small, very hard coated, and I'll treat these exactly the same way as I'll treat the sweet peas. But no doubt you'll get a fantastic flower from them. That's a mallow. I grow that every year. It's a lovely little flower. Nasturtium. Who doesn't like a nasturtium for the baskets? Absolutely fantastic. And nasturtiums are exactly the same as the sweet pea. They're very hard seed coated, so they'll be planted exactly the same way. And what I do with them, I plant them in nasturtium into multi-cell seed trays like this. Just exactly the same as the sweet pea. Mix up to ½ inch below the top, well soaked. Plant a single one in each pot, and of course once they grow, they can be potted off. Once they get fill the tray with root, they can be potted up into a decent sized pot, ready for going out into the benches to chill off. Morning Glory, that's another climber, lovely little thing. And of course I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different nasturtiums. I've got the deep red, and I've got the deep purple, and I've got the brown. So absolutely marvellous. So I'll get stuck in with them. I'll finish off the sweet pea, get the nasturtiums in, get the mallow in, and I have got another one which I've grew, the lavatra. You can't get the perennial one, the big bush, but I like to grow just a packet of these because they're beautiful, silver cup, and they're absolutely fantastic for the back of the border. Once again, small little rounded hard seed, but you can put them in exactly the same as a sweet pea and you'll get the same variety. You get the same results. Now there's another one of my favourites that's going to be going in. Now these will be sown in a full size seed tray. The dahlias, and I will start on the dahlias. I'll not be doing them today because I've got quite a bit to do today, so I'll start the dahlias off. I always start these off the first week in March, so I've only got another week to go. And the dahlias will go in, and what they'll be sown broadcast. So I'll get just an ordinary seed tray, holes in the bottom, fill it right to the top with my compost, and just level it out and pat it down just so it's about a ½ inch below the bottom of the top of the tray. Give it a good soaking, exactly the same, really well soaked, and then I'll just sprinkle the dahlia seed, which are quite easy to do. And as I say, once you look at the seed count, you get an idea of how many seed you have. It's 50 seed on there. Now 50 seed with a dahlia, they're quite a big seed, so you can space them out. So that's why I like to use a full size seed tray. Now 50 seed on there you can put down in rows. You can put rows of 5 or whatever, or rows of 10, 5 rows of 10, and as long as you well space them out. And I'm never in a hurry to prick these off. I like to leave them till I get a nice decent size, a good true first set of leaves on them, and then I'll pot them up. I'll dig them out of these and I'll pop them up into a 6 or 9 centimetre pot for them to grow on, ready for going out in the summer. But that's another great one. Dahlias, as I say, for £1 a packet and for 50 seed. Cannot beat it. Absolutely marvellous. I've got a packet of lettuce I've just brought up. I've just noticed that. I bought it the other day. 50p for Webb's Wonderful. That is one of my all-time favourites. Webb's Wonderful. So I'll be sowing them. I've also got some dwarf lettuce to sow. So yeah, it's going to be busy times for it. But I'll pop down to the bottom greenhouse where I've been starting to sow some bits and pieces down there, and we'll get sorted out down there. But for the time being, I'll finish off up here. I'm going to get the last of these sweet peas down, and we'll pop down the other greenhouse and see what I've been doing down there. Okay. Right, well, welcome to the top tunnel. As I say, I'm going to have to watch for the sunshine. I don't want it to distorting the lenses. I'll just quick show you in here what I've just been up to. I know when I was up the other day, having the hose out, and what I've managed to get done here is that's a spring cabbage, and they're absolutely fantastic. Really strong looking, really fresh. I'm well pleased with them. All these have had is a good soaking and a little bit of sulphate of ammonia, nitro choke, sorry, a little bit of nitro choke put around them, and I think that gives it a lovely spring boost. But apart from that and a bit of water, that's all I've had. Now I will be putting the weekly hoses on this week. I often wait until about March time before I start with the hoses, because what I can do here, I can turn the tap on overnight time, go away, leave it, come back in the morning, and the trenches are really well soaked. So that's the idea of that. It saves a lot of work for us. But that's the job I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. As you can see, we're strawberries. I have to turn around because of course the sun's on us. We're getting most of our strawberries inside here now, and it's absolutely beautiful. These are just the ones we potted up. We had a lot of runners left over, and we just potted these up into a decent sized pot. Majority of them, the second year ones, you can see over the back here, they're in the green tubs, and they're doing absolutely marvellous. They're coming away really fine. Just nice and slow, ticking over. All I've had in these is a little bit of water, nothing else. They're due a spray, and as I say, I like to go around them and just pick little bits of grass and root out that's growing in them, because this is what own compost, so we will have a little bit of root, like I say, bits of grass and that growing amongst it. But if you just keep on top of that, you know, everything's quite easy. And of course grimsel, grimsel grows anywhere. I just like to keep the pots nice and clean. And what I will be doing is, as I mentioned in the last video, is getting a spray made up of garlic, and I'll have to go right round these and give them a good blast. Now these are the second year pots here. As you can see, there's a little bit of weeds starting to grow through them, but that's fine. And then not had any water at all. And they were just brought in a month ago, but I'm feeling around, feeling the tops, and I think it's just starting to get a little bit of dry there. So what we'll do, we'll give them a good watering, and then that sets them away. Right, so into the melon house. As I showed you the last video, this is what pot leeks. Now these have just been growing away slowly, just ticking over. It's just a cold greenhouse in here, no heat whatsoever. I've got a few onions here that's just starting to romp away into seed there. Only two of them starting to rot, so I'm going to have to look at a few of them and see if I can get them sorted out. The smell is absolutely fantastic in here. The geraniums off last year, they're flowering away. I've got some hyacinths flowering away. Beautiful. Now it's all what seed takers here, ready to go at the end of next month. And of course these are the Ziri, nice red ones. They're just sitting in trays for the time being. And I have got a new one that I'm trying this year, which is Wilger. I have not tried Wilger before, but it's got some nice shoots on it. It's starting to shoot away there, but I'm looking forward to trying them this year. Up on the top here, and of course my all-time favourite, zinnias. Now zinnias can be a bit tricky. If you're sowing zinnias, what you need to know is that they hate being transplanted, and that's from the seedling stage. So what I like to do with zinnias is to sow them in multi-cell trays. They're the same as a dahlia seed. They're quite big, so you can pick them out, no problem. So I like to sow them in individual trays. And once again, with the zinnias, there was I think 50 seed in a packet. So I split the whole packet, between a tray of 20. So that's nearly 2 seeds per unit. Now I don't mind that. I don't mind getting a nice little bunch of seedlings in each tray. And of course this way, growing them like this, once I fill this little unit, I can tip them out and I can pop them off into a bigger pot, and that saves any root disturbance whatsoever. But it's just one of them. It's one of them things, zinnias. They just don't like being potted off. I think I've got about 4 or 5 trays of zinnias, different kinds, different flowering ones. But yeah, they're fine. And of course there's the cabbage and the sprout already, all potted off. And they'll be coming through within a week or two. Nice and slow, no heat whatsoever. Just nice and slow. And once they start breaking cover, I can pot them off into separate trays. That's a grapevine cuttings. A few of them are starting to put up, so I'm quite chuffed for them. Yeah, looking forward to getting some nice cuttings off there. And once again, that tray of zinnias, I'm going to have to sort this top shelf out because I'm running out of space in here. And of course, there's the tray of the perennials that I sowed down at home, and they're all up here now. That's the hollyhocks, there's verbena, there's euphorbia, verbascum, echinacea, aquilegia. Well, the list goes on and on and on. But yeah, if you want to sow some perennials, you've got some of the easiest flowers to grow. Once you get them grown in the seed tray and you get them potted off into single pots, they'll come through quite easily. But try them by all means, and you'll get a marvellous flower from them. So that's it for the time being. I'm going to crack on with me. Me sweet peas up the top end there. Try and get them finished. As I say, I've had a little bit of manure delivered, so I've just been cracking on outside with the trenches. We're trying to get that turned over as best we can. But once I get myself back on my feet, we should be fine. As I say, it's an absolutely beautiful day out here. Sunshine. I know it's gonna put a bit of a shade on here. Oh, there's another tree I was just getting done. That's a third apple tree. We're getting planted, and of course these are all going to be espaliers. What we've done, we've built a little bit of framework on the side, and you can see just where I've clipped it there. Now this will all be painted up, all this framework, once we break out a pot of green paint in the summertime. So you can just see where I've clipped that there, and once these shoots come off there, the first two will go on the top of there, and then they'll grow up to the second, and of course the third one. And up the top end we've already gotten two done. We've done two trellises up there. Now the only thing I've got to do now is to sort out where the cherry's going to go. Get a cherry tree in, and then the last job is a peach tree. Now I'm going to put the peach tree here at the end of this bed here. I was going to put it in the lower polytunnel, but where the top end is, the grapevine is, I think it's going to be a bit too close to the grapevine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a small framework here, from there up to the side of the roof here. Put a framework up on there and down to here, and I'm going to put a peach in there, plant the peach in there, and it'll be fan trained. So there'll be a nice framework there, and the peach can be trained on there, which will be quite exciting. Of course, we'll not be able to grow peaches up here in the northeast outside, so just a cold polytunnel. There's never any heat in here, so I think it'll just grow rather well in here. But we'll see how it goes anyway. We'll get the framework started this week. And maybe just have to shift one of the hoses over, one of the wicket hoses, just out the way of the centre there. But once that's done, we can get the peach tree planted and get the framework put up. It's going to be permanent, the framework, but it's not going to be in no way, because we can get round the back of the border quite easily. And as I say, we'll plant a peach tree there, and we'll just see how it grows. But yeah, it's all looking good. I'm just chuffed that the weather's been on my side for a few days. It's forecast to be fine for the rest of the week, so crack on. Let's get some planting done. Get some seeds done, and we'll just we'll pop in here for the last look around into the lower polytunnel. And of course, as you can see, this is priority job for me this week, is to get all this summer bedding out. I've got to start making some room on one of the benches outside where my sweet peas are going to go, because all this bedding here needs to come out now. It's nice and strong. The sweet williams there, the Bellis daisies, they're all looking fantastic. The delphiniums, beautiful plants. But what they need now, they need just a little bit chilling off. Yes, they're all looking fine. Really pleased with the way these have come on. More Bellis, and of course the wallflowers, they are absolutely fantastic. I've got plenty of tradefuls of them. So they're just about, the roots are at the bottom there now, so, and they're starting to brown off at the bottom there. So I know that they're starting to run out of feed in the pots. So what I'll do is I'll get them outside, and I'll give them a good feed of tomato fertiliser, or the beer that I've got in the tanks here. I can put some of that beer into water that down, and I'll give them a good soak of that. I just like to go along, feed the pots, feel the pots, and see what they like. Now they're looking a little bit raggedy there, so I must get these out this week. Definitely get them out and get them fed, because they're starting to soak all the goodness out of the pots. I believe these are poppies. I'll just have to go along, check them all. Yes, you can see there's definitely some of the leaves just starting to die back on there now, and that just shows you how well the plants have grown. When they've outgrown that pot, the roots are through the bottom there, and they're wanting a bit extra feed. So that's definitely a job I've got to do this week, is get these well watered, get all the rubbish, all the dead leaves taken off them, and give them a little bit of feed, a little bit of supplementary feeding. As I say, I'll probably use some of the beer juice that's in the barrel. And of course we've got all our strawberries hanging there. These are the first ones that were brought in, and these are absolutely marvellous. Nice and clean, spot on, well pleased with them. A little bit of weed going through, and as I say, they've had nothing. All these have had on is a little bit of sulphate of potash, and no water whatsoever, but it is a little bit dry there now. Just feeding with my fingers, and get my finger down the bottom there, it feels a little bit dry, so I think I'll put the first water on. So these have been in since the solstice in December, so that's 4, 6, 7 weeks now they've been in, so I'm going to give them the first water on this afternoon. I'll use the hose on them and just give them a good spraying. As I say, it'll wash the sulphate of potash into them and get some of it off their leaves. I'm well chuffed with them, they're growing really well. I've got trays upon trays of winter pansies to go out, so all them will have to be sorted out. And as I say, there's the Bellis daisy starting to put up there now, so I'm going to have to get a move on here and get all these planted out. There's no sign of the early tatties coming up yet, but no doubt with the seed coming, they'll not be long. Give it another few weeks and they'll be shooting through. And of course these are the red duty oaks that's in here. There's 3 rows. I like to get them out of here as quick as I can, because what will be going in here is a sweet corn, and what will be grown in here is the Three Sisters Challenge. Now we've mentioned it a couple of times on different posts. So we'll be doing the challenge in here. We'll be growing the sweet corn, we'll be growing alderman peas up the sweet corn, and we'll be growing squashes or watermelons along the sides of them in the bottom to get the roots on a good covering, good foliage covering, and keep the weeds down, and also keep the moisture in. That's the idea of it. You can get 3 crops in one place, and managed well. If they're well fed, and you should do okay. But we'll speak about that later on, much later on in the year when I get started planting. As I say, we're on in the northeast here, so I'll not be doing my planting of sweet corn until the middle of April, and end of March, beginning of April, and that's fine because these tatties will not come out here until the end of May. And so if I time my sweet corn for then, which will be perfect, time the sweet corn for them, plant it in, and also put the peas in about a fortnight before I plant the sweet corn, get them grown in a nice single pot, and then they can all go in together, and hopefully we'll get a good crop out of the Three Sisters. But we'll talk a lot more about that later on when we'll get a bit nearer the time. But for the time being, I'm going to crack on with my sweet pea, try and get these planted. I've got to get the hose in here, give these a good soaking, and 2 or 3 jobs to get done this afternoon. So, yep, I'll plot on. I'll let you go for the time being. I'll just crack on here. I've got the baskets all to check because there's 1 or 2 dead leaves lying around the sides of them. I like to try and pull all these off. Doesn't do any harm whatsoever to the plants. It's just all this is brand new growth. It's lovely, nice and strong, nice and clean. Weeds are out. Yeah, I'm well pleased with the strawberries this year, where they're growing. So yeah, that's it. Smashing. So for the time being, thanks for sharing. Thanks for subscribing. There's quite a few new lads coming on the site. I'm well pleased. I'm glad I'm getting something from more videos. I'd just like to show you around the plot every now and again, and what we've been up to, what me and Roger like doing throughout the winter months. Like I say, there's loads to do. It's I know only early February, but we've got tons of seed to get planted, all ready for the summer. So I'm gonna leave you there, and I'm gonna crack on with the strawberries. Crack on with the sweet peas for the time being. Okay, so I'll see you all again on the plot. Okay, bye for now.